What's up, everyone? Chase Owens here, Bullet Club member, and you are watching the IHJW Wrestling Podcast with Nelson, Craig, and Keish. And I promise you, it's going to be just too sweet.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of IHJW Wrestling Podcasting. Of course, this is Keish. We had a busy weekend this weekend. If you're a wrestling fan, for sure, you have the second to final night of New Japan and War Games. But I'm going over War Games. The review of the New Japan will be up either before or after this. I need to figure that part out. But once it's up, I will have that in store for you guys. But War Games, of course, not too bad. Not too bad. Only one match I almost fell asleep on, and that's not a part to them. It's a gimmick match, and it's a strap match. We're gonna go on. This was great. NXT never lets me down with wrestling stuff. Every time they have events, takeovers, and War Games, and I believe this is the fourth one, if I remember correctly. I'm hoping. Yeah, I think this is the fourth one. Love it, hands down. Let's just get into it. So, women's War Games match. We have Team Candice with Candice LeRae, Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, and Toni Storm versus Team Shotzi, Rhea Ripley, Ember Moon, and Io Shirai. So simple things. A simple start. I want to say something about the beginning though, because Dakota Kai started and Ember Moon starts this whole match, but we get to see Shotzi's new tank, really cool tank, and she had a missile launcher, or the gun on the tank, like loaded, and she shot a missile, looked like a foam missile, shot at Dakota while she was in the cage, and it was pretty funny. Dakota got freaked out because I wasn't expecting that. I don't think she was, but it was pretty funny. It looked like a Nerf toy just painted to look real. But, it's a cool tank. Like, Shotzi made a dope-ass tank. So, let's go there. Simple beginning between Ember and Dakota. Biggest part was Dakota hitting the chiropractor on Ember because Team Shotzi had the advantage. So, the next person in was Shotzi. Shotzi comes in next. Before Shotzi comes in, she has a toolbox and a crowbar. I don't think the crowbar was ever used. I think it was. I don't know. I think it was used once. It was just really funny that she brought a toolbox and a crowbar. Dakota Kai held her own. Like, I hate to say it this way, and I mean this. This is a big accolade for her by saying this. She held her own like Shawn Michaels. Like, she was taking care of Ember and Shotzi really, really well. Then, the biggest move there for those three women was a Doomsday Dropkick. So I believe Shotzi had Dakota on her shoulders, and Ember just does a missile dropkick to Dakota. Yeah, Ember does a missile dropkick to Dakota while he's on Shotzi's shoulders, and there you go. Raquel Gonzalez is next. Gonzalez just cleaned house. She was just a badass. She basically did a whirlwind slam on Ember Moon. So if you've think of the Tour of Island. So she does a power slam, but she spins her on twice. It sounds much better than how I'm explaining it, but it was cool. Then power shots to the kids. Yeah, and she just throws people into the cage. It was pretty dope. And then she puts Dakota on her shoulders, like, laying down. And she was using Dakota as a weapon against Shotzi and Ember. It was pretty dope with these two. Like, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I wish they had a women's tag division in NXT, but if they both get called up, I love, like, this is, for me as, like, a wrestling fan, this is the new Shawn Michaels and Diesel. And everyone knows, like, in the 90s, how they were, and they were both basically, they could have been the world champions, in which they both became world champions. So I'm hoping that Dakota Kai or Raquel gets a chance at that title sooner or later. Uses the weapon. Dakota Kai and Gonzalez. Oh, they had a lot of super clean tag team moves between Dakota Kai and Gonzalez. It's dope. I don't know. They're super clean together. Their natural chemistry as a tag team is really good, and it's really cool. But the biggest spot for that, for those 4 women, was Dakota jumping from one ring to another. So from the top rope, from the left ring into the right ring onto Ember and Shotzi. Rhea Ripley comes out next, and everyone was hyping up this because though they had a match already between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez, no one can get enough of it, which is pretty dope. We get which is, see, this is the only thing that got me. So Rhea Ripley pulls out a sledgehammer, and like a little mini sledgehammer from the tool case, and I will say this: it looked like it looked like a gimmick sledgehammer, like it looked like a toy sledgehammer. Basically, if you ever seen like a foam Thor's hammer, it looked like that, just painted with the handle painted just wood colors, and I was like, but I've seen them. I've seen like the mini sledgehammer. It just looked super goofy in Rhea Ripley's hands, and it had the same effect. Of course, she used that against Dakota Kai. And then she even actually uses her own belt, by tying up Dakota Kai's hands in her belt, then throwing her into throwing Dakota Kai into the cage. Gonzalez gets a double clothesline on Moon and Shotzi, if I remember correctly. Yes. Yeah, Moon and Shotzi. So Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez get a little spotlight in the middle of the both rings on top of the steel partition. And after that, Tony comes in. So Tony's the next one out. And then it's back to 3-on-3. Tony grabs kendo sticks, then instantly comes in and exposes the top turnbuckle of one corner and the middle turnbuckle of another corner. I don't think they used the middle one at all. I think they just did it just to do it. The only thing that happens other than the kendo sticks, like, they go, is it here? Yeah, so, no, it's not even here where they go off on Shotzi with kendo stick, but it's later in the match. The biggest spot there's 2 Tower of Dooms, one with a backdrop and one with the power bump with all the ladies. Io Shirai grabs a ladder and kendo sticks, but Raquel Gonzalez stops her and kicks the door in her face like multiple times. So every time Io tries to go into the ring, she gets kicked out. But while she's kicked out, she grabs another item to throw in the ring. She gets 2 ladders, brings one ladder in, and then as the second ladder is coming in, Raquel kicks the ladder and launches Io into the barricade. Then Io grabs some chairs, throws some chairs in the ring. Then Raquel Gonzalez kicks the door into Io. And so it was not. It sounds funny. It didn't look funny, but it was just really weird that every time Io would throw something in, she would just get hit, and she was just hit by Raquel Gonzalez. Candice is in. Candice is finally the last person in. So Io's still on the outside, and Tony actually tries to close the door with Rhea Ripley's belt and holding it. But as you know, all the weapons are in the ring now, and the rest of the team doesn't have to go. So Candice is standing on top of the steps, ready to go in. Then Indy Hartwell comes out of nowhere, attacks Io Shirai with a chain, and then relocks the cage with a new chain and a lock. She taunts the referees with the key and puts it in her bra, and she leaves. So it's a 4-on-3 advantage for Team Candice. Candice and Gazella and Dakota Kai like tee off on Shotzi with kendo sticks. It was crazy because like they were hitting all parts of her. Like she was sitting up straight, and then when she went down, they kept hitting her. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? Candice tries to pin Shotzi because it's basically over. Like she had the advantage. They took out everyone. Shotzi's like the last one. She pins Shotzi. The referee looks at her. Is like, I can't count. I was like, why can't you count? I'm the last one in. The referee says, I can't pin her. I can't allow you to pin her until Io's in the ring. So as everyone's like, all right, where's Io? Io's on top of the cage, and she has a garbage can, and I was super confused because she puts the garbage can over her head and over her body, then jumps and hits all the women. I'm gonna make sure I put a picture of that. It's the most like when she jumps, it's pretty epic, but the way she does it, it's super hilarious. Biggest parts from there, Dakota Kai hits a double stomp on Io while she's in the garbage can. Ember Moon hits an eclipse on Dakota Kai on a chair, which looked really cool. Storm Zero to Moon onto garbage can, and Shotzi does a jumping senton onto Candice, while Candice was holding a chair, so they basically took both of them out. The end of the match was set up this way, where Io Shirai was setting up for a moonsault, I believe, on Dakota, but Raquel Gonzalez was able to intercept her, get her up for the single arm powerbomb, and put her through a table. Put Io through, not through a table, through a ladder that was set up on the middle rope between both rings, and put her through that ladder, and then 1, 2, 3. So Raquel Gonzalez gets a pin on the NXT Women's Champion, and Team Candice wins. I would say that was a really good match. It was, I won't say overbooked. It was really, just like really everywhere with all the weapons and how everything was. Every woman had a hell of a spot to like show what they got. Even Tony, Raquel had a lot of big spots. Rhea had a lot of big spots. With the way they used their weapons, Dakota Kai was for sure the MVP of this match. She was super consistent. Ember hit her eclipse, which is amazing. Candice Story, a really good storyteller and a good heel. And Io Shirai jumping off the top of the cage in a garbage can. What else do you want? It was pretty funny just seeing her jump. She looked so excited to put herself into the garbage can and jump. It was really funny. I really hope you guys go watch it. We have Ciampa versus Thatcher. Really brutal match. The ref checks on Ciampa for a neck injury. I think this was more kayfabe because he was grabbing his neck super hard. I'm like, yo, he's been out of action so many times because of his neck injury. Let's not happen again. Ciampa comes back with the multiple clotheslines. Little heat check. Ciampa hits literally 6 or 7 clotheslines, then hits a jumping clothesline. But Thatcher gets so after that comeback, Ciampa gets a superplex. Then Ciampa goes after Thatcher, running knees to the side of his head, and I think it was his Thatcher's left ear busted open, in a bad way. It looked pretty bad. How Thatcher got caught up bleeding. The ending of the match was they were Thatcher was outside in the ropes, and Ciampa was basically just beating him up with elbows. Then he gets a little a mini version of the headlock guillotine on Thatcher, then turned it into the Widow's Bell, which is the draping DDT, like Randy Orton, and it was a 1, 2, 3. It was a brutal match. It was very methodical, very hard hitting. It's one of those matches you feel uncomfortable watching because you don't know if Ciampa's actually hurt. Man, that vein that pops out of his head every time he in pain, you don't want to see people grabbing their head. Every time you see Daniel Bryan grab his head, I'm like, it's the same thing with Edge. Every time I see Edge grab his head, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But they had a good stare down at each other. It wasn't a form of respect. It's just Thatcher was just pissed off he lost, and because he thought he was about to win, and I thought Thatcher would win this one too. So, Ciampa gets his win. Continuing his change of culture in the NXT locker room. You have Grimes versus Loomis. I would say this is not the most amazing match. It's a strap match. I have not seen a good strap match since Eddie Guerrero JBL. And even before then, they had a Hangman part in that match in the JBL Eddie Guerrero, and I didn't like that. But this was a little bit more straightforward. It was, I would say, if anyone can get it, it was more of an ECW strap match, which is you know what to expect. A lot of slaps, a lot of getting tangled up. Even Loomis gets a quick one on. Sorry, Grimes got a quick one on Loomis by putting a bag, because they had a burlap sack match before, or a blindfold match technically, and he does that. He does that to Loomis, and Loomis still gets a spinebuster on him. Um, it's a very standard match, even though it's a gimmick match. The ending was basically Grimes is trying to do the cave-in on Loomis while he was on the chair. Loomis gets up, but Grimes doesn't notice the strap is literally wrapped like crazy around his leg. It's like it was wrapped around like 4 times. It was really weird how that happened, but in a strap match, you don't notice what's like wrapped around you because you're trying to get around the strap being on your arm. So Loomis pulls the strap, hits, and Grimes falls down on the chair head first. Then Loomis gets his rear naked, as a rear naked or side sleeper hold. Grimes was able to almost escape, but Loomis actually used the strap to cover his eyes and pull back, so a little bit more torque. I don't know how that happened, and Priest wins. It's to have a serious match after a bunch of literally gimmick and funny matches is really good for this. I'm hoping this is done because we don't need to see any more Grimes and Loomis matches, even though I think this means Grimes have literally almost lost every match between the both of them, which is really odd because I thought Grimes was going to challenge for a title soon, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. That'd be kind of cool, Loomis versus Johnny Gargano. I think I just gave up the winner of Rough, Priest, and Johnny Gargano. It was a good match. It was basically a match between Priest and Gargano, and just Rough getting in the way of Priest. Every time Priest was getting offense in, Rough would just get in the way, and he's like, he's just like, nah, this is my belt. I'm defending my belt. Priest basically was tired of dealing with Rough. He razor edged Rough into the barricade and knocks over the barricade. And you thought it was like, I thought I was like, whoa, dude, he knocked over the barricade. Then the people behind the barricade knock over the barricade behind it, and you can see the barricades are not drilled down or in a way where it's like where it couldn't be knocked over, like they're easily knocked over. So I was dying when I guess it was an NXT crew member knocking over another barricade. It was comical. Priest, Ruff comes back out and tries to basically take advantage of the little spots. There's a point where Priest hits a choke slam onto Johnny Gargano on the side of the apron. He pushes Gargano in the middle of the ring. Priest is taking a breather. Ruff goes to the top rope, hits his big splash, and Priest breaks up the pin in 2. So there's many times where technically Ruff could have won, and he didn't. The end of while Priest takes care of Ruff, 6 ghost faces, so the Scream Mask people, come out and try to distract and beat up Priest. He takes off all 6 of them, 3 at a time. One with a slingshot. I think it was a rebound. I think you would call it a rebound tope, where he jumps off the middle rope over the top rope. Then one just tope, just going over the top rope. While Priest is about to do the reckoning, which is inverted swinging neckbreaker, one more ghost face comes out of nowhere, hits Priest with the metal pipe. Priest falls backwards. Ruff comes back to try to roll up Gargano. Gargano rolls through. He super kicks Ruff in the face. Low super kick Ruff in the face. Then hits his slingshot DDT for the win. As Gargano is leaving with the championship, the last Ghostface, I guess the original Ghostface, or the main Ghostface, I don't know even, the one most likely who cost Priest the title at Halloween Havoc, is Austin Theory. Whoop-de-doo. I don't know how to feel about Austin Theory. He was on the main roster for a quick bit while Heyman was in charge, and then he was sit back down. So I don't know what they're going to do with Austin Theory and this crew, but let's see. Candice has Hartwell, Gargano has Theory, and they both win. They both win their biggest matches. So their Gargano household is fun. It's done it, and it's the Gargano way. Then we have the men's War Games match between Pate McAfee, Lorcan and Birch, and Pete Dunne versus the Undisputed Era, which is Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong. You have Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne basically starting off in a very technical standpoint of like going from submission hold to submission hold, wrist lock to wrist lock, and even Kyle basically holding a heel hook onto Pete Dunne as I believe is it Birch that comes in. Yeah, it says Lorcan comes in next. The biggest part when Lorcan comes in for Kyle, Birch, and Dunne is that Dunne and Lorcan, sorry, I said Lurch, not that Lurch. Lorcan actually do a double submission on Kyle, which was I believe it was a Boston Crab and like a crossface. Bobby Fish comes in. He exploders suplexes Pete Dunne into Oney Lorcan. That was their big spot. Birch comes in. Birch brings in 2 cricket bats, and it was, man, these either are brand new cricket bats, or they are the super fakest bat, the most fakest bats I've ever seen. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. It was just really weird because he brings in an orange bag, and I didn't even see him throw it in. I was just like, what is going on? Where's the orange bag there? And he brings in a cricket bat. Of course, he attacks everyone with the cricket bat, and we have one of the commentators said he hit him like Birch hit Kyle O'Reilly like Casey Jones, which is, and Wade Barrett was super confused. He was like, who's Casey Jones? He's like, don't worry about it. And I was like, oh, Ninja Turtles. Strong comes out. Strong is a man out of fire. He's basically superplexing, backbreaking everybody. He ends up having a moment in the middle partition with Oney Lorcan, Birch, and Pete Dunne, where both the tag team champions, Lurch and Loney, are on the top rope, hanging off the top rope, and Pete Dunne's on the corner at the other end, and he's just running back and forth, hitting elbows and jumping knees. And that was the biggest part for Roderick Strong. He was a man out of fire basically the whole time. Pat McAfee's called in. Pat McAfee is the last person, and at least it's his team to come in. What he does is grabs tables, and each table has a name of each Undisputed Era member. The thing is, literally when they got done with the tables, with bringing the tables and putting Roderick Strong through it, actually sending Roderick Strong for Pat McAfee to do a moonsault off the top rope onto Roderick Strong through a table, Adam Cole was out of concern. I was like, this is taking too long for him to bring in all the tables. It was really, really weird. Like, even when Pat McAfee was in there, when this restarted, he was just sitting on the top rope, just watching his boys do all the work. Adam Cole was the last member of the people, last person to enter the match. He grabs a chair with the Undisputed Era symbol on it before he tries to come in. All of Pat's team is waiting for him at the door. Adam Cole grabs a fire extinguisher and is able to get in the ring and start using the chair on everyone. He takes out Lorcan, Dunne, and Birch, and he just keeps calling out. He keeps trying to find a way to get to Pat McAfee. Then Dunne So what happens there? Dunne gets back up. He puts Adam Cole counters a bitter end into a DDT. So Kyle O'Reilly, who was the first one in the ring, calls out Pat McAfee with the chair after letting out everyone with the chair. All of Pat's crew with a chair. He's calling him out. Pat's like, put down the chair. I'll come over and I'll head over. So he puts on the chair, and they start fighting. Adam Cole comes out of nowhere, hits Pat with a chair, and I was dying. I was like, it's just not a break for him. It's not a break for him. There was a weird, scary part during this match. This happened before in a former War Games match. I don't know what they were helping Fish about. If I do get an update on that, I'll definitely put that on Facebook and the YouTube. But yeah, Fish was being attended to. I don't know what happened. But that's about it. That's about it for like a scary part of the match. It was really weird because it just seemed like the referee was tending to Fish in the middle, and like it was, I think, like while Birch and Kyle were fighting, they kept going towards in the frame where you can see the referee like either bandaging up Fish or helping him out with something. Don't know what though. Adam Cole tosses Pat McAfee through a table. Basically, Adam Cole's on the top rope. Pat McAfee does his jump from the ring to the top rope. Adam Cole's still sitting down, so Adam Cole catches him, then just pushes him through a table. That was for Kyle O'Reilly. Let's see. You have Roderick Strong, who basically Strong and Fish double power bomb Pete Dunne into Birch, who was on a table. The table doesn't break, so Strong gets on the top rope and does a crossbody in both men. Let's see. That's about it. Like there's a lot of things that happen in this match. It's super crazy. I'll just say that it's wild. You have the UA who fully gained an advantage at one point in the match where they toss everyone on Pat's team except for Pat into one side of the War Games ring, and each member of that of Pat's team gets an elbow from Kyle, a shoulder from Fish, a knee from Strong, and a super kick from Cole. They did it one at a time. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to Pete, 1, 2, 3, 4 to Lorcan, 1, 2, 3, 4 to Birch. It looked it was pretty smooth with how they did it all 4 times. Then they basically jumped Pat McAfee, throwing him to the cage left and right. But while the Undisputed Era was trying to set up Pat for a punt kick for Adam Cole to do, Pat's team came back out. They start brawling as everyone is down. Then Pat, out of nowhere, is on top of the cage, does a swanton from the top of the cage, and hits everyone. So here's the finish. Because Adam Cole tries to finish the match with a Panama Sunrise on Pat McAfee. Matt McAfee kicks out 2, and everyone's like, what is going on? Adam Cole was about to do a last shot, which is his Shining Wizard without the knee pad to Pat. Lorcan saves Pat and basically takes the last shot. Cole gets a bitter end, but he gets a bitter end onto a chair, and the chair's sitting down, so he lands abdomen first on top of the chair. Strong does a tossing backbreaker to Pete Dunne. Then Strong and Fish do a complete elimination on Orny Lorcan. At the end of that, after that, Strong puts a chair on top of Orny Lorcan's face, and Kyle O'Reilly does a knee drop from the top rope. So he walks to the middle of the top rope and does the knee drop on to Lorcan and pins him 1, 2, 3. A reason why Birch didn't break up the pin, Fish put Birch through a table right before the segment. This sequence, so the Undisputed Era wins. It was okay. I don't know. I just, I get why people, like I said, I've said it every time during NXT. I get why Pat McAfee is there. He's there because he was Plan B. Did him and Adam Cole have Matt Cole? Jeez, you know I'm tired. Did him and Adam Cole have a good match and take over? Yes, they did. It was mostly 3-on-4, and it makes me think about. I was like, well, 3-on-4, and just basically a person that does Jeff Hardy spots. And I'm thinking about, I was like, how? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I hope this is over. I hope Pete Dunne just separates himself. I hope we don't see Pat McAfee again. It is the end of this is the last event for NXT, technically. I don't expect anything to happen until January, especially with Finn Balor. I want to see how Finn Balor comes back into NXT with the title. What is he going to do? And where does the Undisputed Era go from here? Because I think they've done everything. They've won every title. They've won multiple times in War Games. So what is else for them to do? And even then, should they even move up? Should Adam Cole move up to our main roster the way everything's been going? And Bobby Fish. And I know Kyle can't move up because of his I believe because of his health issues, he can't move up. And I believe he said that. That's why he won't move up. So what is left for the Undisputed Era as of right now? I don't know, because I don't think them doing the having them all have gold makes sense anymore. So I don't know. I felt like this should have been the curtain call for Undisputed Era to see what they do from there. I really hope that we see Adam Cole strong in the Royal Rumble, and another tag team to face the New Day is Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, because that'd be good. It'd be good. Or have them sent to SmackDown. There's so much stuff you can do with the Undisputed Era. I just don't know what they can do with Undisputed Era. All in all, guys, NXT War Games was pretty dope. The women's War Games match was amazing. All the women had their own spots. Raquel Gonzalez looked super strong, really big. I see EO versus Raquel for the title. Let's see if she'll be the one to take it off EO, and EO can maybe have a WrestleMania match against Asuka or something, or some. We're all waiting for EO versus Asuka somehow, some way. I'm really hoping for that to happen down the line, and Raquel to have that belt, and for her to hopefully turn face against Dakota or something like that, or Candice LeRae going after the belt. I don't know. All these women deserve a shot. Shotzi's still being built, and I hopefully Rhea Ripley. This was Rhea Ripley's last match at NXT. She deserves to be on the main roster. I don't know why, since they didn't move her to the main roster after WrestleMania. More from Loomis and Grimes. I don't know what else they can do. I'm really hoping this is the end of it, and Grimes can go back and chasing that title, but it seems I don't know how he can go from there. Priest has to deal with Austin Theory. I don't know what happens to Ruff from here. And that's it. Like, Pete Dunne, he's Pete Dunne. He'll find work for sure. He's one of the best workers in NXT. You have the tag team champions and a lot of tag teams waiting for them to put it back on the line. So, all in all, it was a great event. A lot of questions because there's so many things that can happen from here. Let's see what happens on Wednesday, and maybe we get to see some more new stuff. Hopefully more new stuff, because it seems like this is a good way to end NXT for the year. This is the great way to end the year for NXT. If this was the last technically event for NXT, this was a great last event for NXT, and I'm wondering how TLC is gonna actually match this or even come close to this. All in all, guys, you have a good one. Please be safe. Take care of each other. Reach out to people you love, people you care about, people you may be worried about. Right now, all we need is to really take care of each other and watch out for each other right now. And hopefully you and your family and your loved ones are having a hopefully safe and healthy winter